Let's open the book on this. Today in Mountain View, delays in restoring safe drinking water around Cuesta Park have left neighbors waiting and worried. I'm Leah.
And I'm Garrett. Welcome to Laid Back Local, the news of the day, with Leah and Garrett in Mountain View, California.
First up, Mountain View faces delays in restoring safe drinking water in the Cuesta Park area after a contamination incident. Here's what happened. On April 24th, a contractor called C2R Engineering, which is a private construction firm working in the area, accidentally breached a water main. A cement slurry mix, basically watery cement used to stabilize trenches, got into the drinking water line. The next day, April 25th, the city declared a state of emergency. That phrase just means the city can move faster on response and tap emergency resources. About 67 households near Cuesta Park were hit with do-not-use orders at first, except for flushing toilets. Crews have been flushing the system, meaning they run large volumes of clean water through the pipes to push contaminants out. City officials say restrictions could lift as soon as Sunday, May 3rd, but only if state regulators clear the water as safe. One key note: because the city declared an emergency, Mountain View can seek state and federal reimbursement for some of the costs of this response. The city is also investigating how this happened, with potential legal action on the table, and officials stress this kind of contamination is unusual in California. It's not something water systems here see often.
Honestly, that's frustrating. It's one thing to have a water main break, but cement slurry in a drinking line is just wild. I get that accidents happen, but this should be ultra rare with layers of checks. I'd love to see stricter rules and oversight on firms doing this kind of work around active water mains, like airtight procedures before anyone cuts or drills anywhere near the system. Leah, why would slurry even get into a water pipe in the first place? Isn't there supposed to be a hard separation between construction materials and drinking water lines?
Real talk, there should be. The most likely path is a physical breach. If a main is nicked or opened, and there's a pressure change, contaminated material can get sucked or pushed in. That's why strict isolation and backflow prevention are standard. The investigation should spell out the chain of events, and if negligence is found, the city could pursue costs. For now, the timeline depends on test results. If you're in the affected area, the city's alerts will be the go-to for when it's safe to switch from bottled water back to tap.
All right, let's roll on. Next up, Palo Alto's train suicides are highlighting an alarming youth mental health crisis. Since 2018, Palo Alto has recorded 11 youth suicides, and 8 of those were on the train tracks. That's about 73%. The city is weighing whether to close the Churchill Avenue crossing, which is a street-level railroad crossing near Palo Alto High School, to reduce direct access to the tracks. Palo Alto is working with the JED Foundation. That's a national nonprofit focused on protecting emotional health and preventing suicide among teens and young adults. The city is also pursuing quiet zones at certain rail crossings. Quiet zones just mean engineers don't routinely sound train horns there, though trains can still use horns if needed for safety. Research shows that restricting access to lethal means, like making tracks harder to reach, helps prevent suicide. What's striking is how disproportionate Palo Alto's share of youth suicides by train is compared to other cities in Santa Clara County.
That hits different. We also have to name the context. There's intense academic pressure in Palo Alto. Pressure isn't the sole cause, but in a high-stress environment, it can compound mental health challenges. Garrett, why keep any of these crossings open if access is a known risk? I know it's complicated, but why?
It is complicated. Crossings serve cars, bikes, and walkers. Closing one shifts traffic and can raise safety issues elsewhere. You've also got rail operations, emergency access, disability access, and legal and cost hurdles. Still, I'm down for targeted closures or redesigns where risk is highest, plus better barriers, and pairing that with school and community supports.
Totally. And if you or someone you know needs help, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free and available 24/7. All right, let's keep this going. Next up, Santa Clara County public defenders are overwhelmed by caseloads amid a budget crisis. Quick definitions. A public defender is a government-paid attorney who represents people who can't afford a lawyer. Caseload means how many clients or cases one attorney is handling at a time. National standards are guidelines from legal experts on safe, ethical workload levels for fair representation. The county faces roughly a $270 million deficit, and leaders say they're absorbing about a $1 billion annual loss in federal funding cuts. Over the last 2 years, the Public Defender's Office lost 33 attorneys, and the attorneys who remain are carrying far more cases than recommended. Here's the eye-opener. Felony attorneys are handling around 139 cases each, compared to the recommended 59. For context, a felony is a more serious crime that can involve prison time, while a misdemeanor is less serious but still a criminal offense. The crisis doesn't sit in a vacuum. Other social safety net services are strained too, which can push more people into the justice system and onto public defenders' dockets. Retention is a struggle because the workload and the stress are high.
Yeah, that checks out as a 5-alarm issue. When defenders are buried like that, justice slows down. People wait in jail longer, cases can bottleneck, and the chance of mistakes goes up. I'd urge an immediate budget rethink, even if it's a bridge plan, plus targeted hiring and retention bonuses. You can't guarantee constitutional rights on a shoestring. Leah, why don't offices just cap the number of cases per attorney and call it a day?
Great question. Some try, but if there aren't enough attorneys, the cases keep coming. Courts still have to appoint someone, and without funding for more staff, those cases land on the same small team. Ethically, attorneys can and do push back if workloads are unsafe, but system-wide relief usually needs budget fixes, new hires, or policy changes to reduce inflow. Otherwise, it's triage, and people's lives are the ones in the balance.
Let's switch it up. Mountain View just greenlit an 8-story, 140-unit condo project at Castro Street in El Camino Real after a tussle over parkland fees. Parkland fees are what developers pay the city to help fund parks and open space for new residents. The council voted 4-2 to approve it after reducing those fees from $2.9 million to $2 million via a settlement, which is a legal agreement to avoid a lawsuit and delays. The project's been on the drawing board for about a decade. It includes ground floor retail and sets aside 22 of the 140 homes for low and moderate income households, which helps with affordability. Fairmont Avenue is slated to become a pedestrian promenade, basically a people-first walking street. The site covers about 1.4 acres, including the little Gateway Park at that corner. Councilmember Allison Hicks recused herself because she lives nearby, and council members John McAllister and Ellen Kamai voted no. The fee settlement was framed as a way to reduce legal risk and keep the project moving.
That's a story worth telling. The affordability piece matters. 22 below-market homes in a central spot can open doors for folks who work here, but can't usually buy here. Still, a decade is a long haul. Garrett, why did this take so long? I mean, what's the big drag on a project like this?
A bunch of things stack up: design changes, environmental reviews, traffic studies, financing cycles, and then friction over fees. If a lawsuit looms, that alone can slow a project for years. I'm glad they resolved the parkland fee dispute. That's one less snag. Now the key is delivering those homes and the promenade without more detours.
Last up. Mountain View-based Khan Academy is teaming up with TED and ETS to launch the Khan-TED Institute, an online college offering a bachelor's degree in applied AI. Quick roll call. Khan Academy is the nonprofit known for free online lessons. TED is the nonprofit behind TED Talks, sharing ideas in short talks. ETS, or Educational Testing Service, is the big nonprofit that designs assessments like the GRE. The plan is a degree that blends core academics, hands-on AI skills, and strong communication training. They're targeting tuition under $10,000 for the full degree, which is strikingly low. The curriculum is being shaped with industry feedback, so grads have skills employers actually need. They're aiming to open applications in about 12 to 18 months and are seeking U.S. accreditation, which just means approval by a recognized agency, so the degree is legitimate and widely accepted. A big insight here. They want to focus on competency, meaning you advance by demonstrating skills, not just by spending a set number of hours in class.
That's pretty cool, right? Under $10,000 for a bachelor's in a field where demand is exploding. If they really nail the applied side and the communication piece, being able to explain AI decisions in plain language, that's gold. And with Khan Academy based here, it could open doors for local learners making a career pivot without taking on massive debt. I could get behind that idea.
That's all for today's laid-back local from Mountain View. Have a great day and join us again tomorrow.